about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and there he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skill by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo will win the Italian Grand Prix!
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett down an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
A very good evening and welcome to yet another edition of Sports Orbit right here under the leadership of Podcast Studio. We apologize, for starting the show a little bit, late as expected. My name is Olawale Ayeni, and I'll be your host for today. I have in the studio Sally Fusman. Good to have you here join us.
Thank you. Friday.
Happy Friday, sir. Of course, we'll be going out after the show. I know how far we actually join me in that.
Absolutely. I mean, pleasure to be here. Of course, thank God it's Friday.
Of course, thank God it's Friday. It is wet, on Friday right here in the nation's capital. And at this point in time, we head straight to the news. Actually, about the reaction of the Super Eagles, dropping in the latest FIFA ranking. A former coach of Kwara United, talking about Samson Unuanel, has actually blamed the Super Eagles of them getting to lose that particular match against Central African Republic. That actually led to the Super Eagles of Nigeria dropping 2 places. They were actually ranked 34th in the world. But according to the latest FIFA ranking, released yesterday, the Super Eagles are now 36th in the world, but they still actually maintain the 5th position in the African continent. Salifu, how will you react to the thoughts coming from Samson at this point in time?
Yeah, it is expected. Anytime you play my international match and FIFA rank match for that matter, and the previous month there's a ranking that definitely is going to affect your points. When you lose a point, and those before you gain a point, definitely have to drop, and that is exactly what the first on that table is, that you can drop from there 34 to 36. So it's expected. Probably losing to Central Africa that is ranked over 200 something on the rank, and you ranking on 34, you lose. So when you lose to such a team, if Central Africa won that match, you definitely get more. Although we got the second leg, but because we're looking at the side by side, the starting Nigeria by the Central Africa, definitely is to have to affect your ranking. And that's what we make that as the Samson rightly say.
Of course, according to Samson, I'm not too surprised with the Super Eagles' position in the FIFA ranking. Consider how the team lost against the Central African Republic in the World Cup qualifiers. I know very well that there's no magic. The team will perform in the reverse fixture to change the whole scenario that happened at the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos. However, we have the chance to move up if the team can beat Liberia and Cape Verde, respectively, in their next upcoming matches. Alpha, what do you make up of the comment coming from the former golfer of Kwara United?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's completely right. Like Salif said, when you lose, and if you have a graded match, be it friendly or, especially when it's even a competitive game, you tend to gain points or lose your ranking. And especially, in the past, some people didn't understand why, because you played and one match, then you drop 2 spots. Like Sanko rightly said, even if a Belgium, for instance, if you play Central African Republic, which is ranked about 190 something, and you lose, you'll be surprised that maybe when the ranking comes, Belgium might be like 10th, because the gap in class, first of all, is too wide, and so you expected that normally, yes, on paper you should be defeating those kind of teams. I mean, you are clearly not in the same class. So if you lose to a team that is far ranked below you, you tend to drop. Let's not be thankful that Nigeria just dropped by 2 spots from they were 34th round dropping to 36, but still maintaining their field position in Africa. I hope that by the time they get to play, the next 2 qualifying games, if they come out victorious in that one, they should be able to move up a couple of spots of the ranking.
Of course, it's Super Eagles of Nigeria expected to play the Libyan national team and also Cape Verde. They came against Liberia. Sorry, will actually not take place right there in Moldova, the Liberia's capital. Why? The last Group C game in the World Cup qualifier will be against Cape Verde right here in Nigeria in a year to be decided, venue by the Nigerian Football Federation. Away from that, okay. Before we actually move away from that, starting for looking at the rankings, we know that there'll be like 2 more rankings to the Nations Cup and all that. Will that really affect the psychology of the team going into the Nations Cup?
What? Sorry, ranking. Yes, although one thing that I forgot is that it will affect your city. Because we have already have the trouble. Generally, it's not going to affect. It's going to have affect our city for people already. Because the trouble has already been corrupted. But I don't think either you are ranking first or you are ranking second. I don't. It depends who you are. I don't think it's going to affect anything by this time. But it depends on your mathematics and how you are going to prepare to play for the match. But just like what is that? Just like let me just add that if you in the ranking, for instance, if Nigeria play against Brazil or play against Argentina, this is now football team or play against US, Spain or England who are ranked above for, even though we lose that match, it may not affect our ranking. But when you lose to a very minor team, or instance you play Niger and Niger beat you, it will definitely affect your ranking. That's why it's the same class. Yes,
Exactly.
It's like how do I call it? Sylvester, Nigeria Sylvester tennis, playing Nada and beat Nada. So it's like it's an upset, it's a miracle. So let's just talk about it. And definitely to affect your ranking when you talk about match is important. But I don't think that the other ranking is going to affect our performance at the national or nothing. But if you don't see that if you say you are going for a draw, definitely it will affect how you are being seated for. Everybody's already know who are going to play. But what matters now is how are you preparing for the game. But at the same time, we need as a Nigerian, as a team, still need to maintain our consistencies. We can't be dropping points, losing either differently or whatever match, losing against those small teams. Nigerian name we supposed to send his finals when it's here, when it's being mentioned in Africa. Any African team coming to play Nigeria should not just look at it, you are going to do it. You should be scared that okay, Nigerian name to send the wrong signal that we are playing Nigeria, definitely they are going to beat us. But now when you are losing for a small thing, you look yourself very anytime you go so no be Nigeria, don't bother.
Of course, for me, on my own, we actually looked at it. We need to actually win on our matches at this point in time, so that it will put us in a comfortable situation when we go for eventually if we get to qualify. When we go for the second round, because there's still going to be a seeding for the last phase of the qualifiers to the World Cup. So we need to play well so that we'll be in a better place of getting to play lesser team in the qualifiers going forward. But away from that, we go straight to the news coming from the Unity pre-season tournament at this point, where Plateau United has actually signified as one of the MPFL teams that will be actually be competing in that particular pre-season tour, and the tour is expected to kick off right here in the nation's capital, Abuja, from October 30th until November the 5th, 2021. Alpha, looking at the Unity Cup pre-season tour, what should we expect from the teams who have actually signified interest? Will going to be a build-up to the MPFL proper?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, kudos to the organizers for putting up this kind of thing, because I mean, our players have been just sitting at home for almost nearly 2 months now. So of course, by now a lot of them would have been rusty. So I think this pre-season Unity tourney is a good tune-up games to serve as a prelude to the kickoff of the NPFL, which as at now we actually don't even know the actual date. that has been set for the kickoff
Yeah,
of the MPFL. But be that as it may, I think this is still a good development. At least the players will be able to at least have a feel of what a complete match is like. And of course, Plateau United just signified their intention also to play. So far, I think there are about 8 or 10 teams now
10
who have
teams.
signified their intention to play in this tournament. I really hope that maybe before the tournament, begins, some teams will also join so that it will be more of a big tournament. And I think as time goes on, this kind of things will be more and more often because players need to always be busy. Football is not a sport where you play and you relax. By the time you start taking too much of a long break like that, rustiness come, and of course you lose some of the drive for the game. So I think it's a good one coming from the organizers.
Charlie, we have seen football administrators, the technical department of the NFF, other players, former coaches who have actually backed the Unity Cup preseason tour. Going forward, should we actually have more of these preseason tournament right here in the nation's capital, despite the fact that we know that we don't have any team playing in the MPFL at this point?
Well, I still want to put the line just like Mr. Alpha said. Kudos to the organizers. It's a privately, it's being privately organized by private people, and those gradually, like they started like a joke, and gradually it's put together in momentum. So more clubs are started. To where it is now, it's like if you are not part of this season, you're not part of this. Definitely, you are going to miss something. That's what it looks like. That's what I mean. Most of the even Wikitoris has also indicated to participate in the tournament. So I give kudos to Patrick Ngo for organizing, who are behind all this idea. It is a good one. Kudos to them, and at the same time, it's also going to show that yes, it's going to show that private Nigerians are ready to do something.
Exactly.
Given if they are given the opportunity, they are ready to do something. And at the same time, people know maybe the way if the league management company LMC, Deco League Management, are not serious. Maybe better so I'm going to have a private league.
Of course,
So
why
private
not?
league.
Because the truth is, even the EPL, what people don't know is it's private driven.
Yes, so
exactly.
If the Unity Club, Unity Club or Unity Tournament can be able to sustain this, they can one day. Okay, you remember last season? It's not last year. It's 2 seasons ago. Some people wanted to float a private league.
Yes, of course. Yes,
to float a private league to rival the MPL. Because many people feel dissatisfied the way a manner MPL is being organized and the way it's being run. So a group of people came up to to float a private league, but these are some people kick against it and but if they're not careful, that's another step. We're heading toward that direction because we can't create a league since August and up to today. This is October. This October we are heading to November. We don't know when and where the next season is going to start. Even those clubs now, that are going to participate in this
in the preseason,
who even know after playing for they still come back. So I can't imagine the kind of administrator we have in this country that we are ahead of a league body. As if the league is ending, you don't know when the next season is going to start. So this time go to APL. At the moment the league is ending, the date for the next season it has already been fixed.
even fixtures for the end of the season is out already.
What kind of league are we operating in this country? So kudos, commended Patrick Ngo, who are behind those things, or putting up this idea together. At the same time, giving the club, the players opportunity to burn up some of the energy because they have sitting at home for a very long time.
And doing nothing. Just so sad that at this point in time, we don't really have a kick-off day for the MPFL. We have actually said that on this show repeatedly that we need those administrators who have the passion for the game to be in the aim of affair when it comes to the sporting sector in the country. Away from that, we head straight to the news coming from the sports ministry at this point in time that they are actually moving towards stopping age cheats in the national youth games because reports were actually flying left, right, and center that some over-age athletes actually represented some states during the national youth game that just concluded early this week. But at this point, the ministry are saying they are going to adopt a measure to ensure that age cheat is being reduced to the minimum. We actually talked about this I think yesterday or day before yesterday where we said will the sport ministry adopt the use of MRM test to ensure that proper age athletes had been, had been allowed to only participate in the national youth games. But are we just hearing this on paper, or they have started doing the work?
You said, I mean, it remains to be seen what kind of measures they are trying to adopt. Because do you try to stop it or identify someone who is younger or who is not qualified, or if it's just simply by looking at the person? Are you trying to use technology? So, what methods are you trying to identify? Are you trying to go down to the schools and bring them? For me, I thought that would have even been one of the best ways, going to schools to we know that if you are in school at a certain age, you should be, if you're in a certain class, you should be around a certain age. Yes, of course, there are always exceptions, but these exceptions are very little. So if they are not going through the school, how they do it? Because sometimes MRI is not always accurate, because I've seen cases in the past, either 3 or 4 years ago, where some Golden Eagles people who I know personally actually passed the MRI.
And they were
They were overage actually, So sometimes I really don't know how much if the MRI is actually 100%. Like someone just told me that when you get to a certain age, that the MRI does not even detect your age anymore. So, but really seriously speaking, I don't know what the Ministry of Sports is trying to adopt. But seriously, this is a problem that we faced over and over again. And that is why we go for competitions, age grade competitions. We do very well because obviously, when you're bringing your elder brother to come and play with the younger one, it's clear that he'll trust him. But when he gets to a stage where now everybody is matured, you see them falling off. That's why you see a Nigerian player, no disrespect, he plays football. By the time he's 28, they say he's 28, 29, and he loses form, and he can't even play anymore. And his mate, who is at that age, is at his peak in Europe or elsewhere. So this thing has been detrimental to our sports in all ramifications. So I think the Ministry of Sport will adopt real measures and not just talking about it on paper just to feel or sound good. It will really be nice.
Of course, Salifu, Kano State has been announced the host of the next edition of the National Youth Games. What are the measures that the Sports Ministry need to put in place before the National Youth Games come Kano 2022?
Well, if putting the minister is the decision is coming directly from the minister of transport, who was obviously frowned at what he saw in the lorry. He was the one that even really a lot of things went wrong. Most of the athletes
Report had that
above the age.
a particular athlete has been, participating in the youth games for completely four times.
So the minister was totally started about what he saw that he was totally complained that how come a game that was just meant for 50 years of age, people above 20 just flooding themselves just to get to that player. If I check the other days, it all boiled down to our attitude of Yes. But what he's saying is that they are going to use a scientific measure to identify those the real age bracket. And when you're coming from scientific measure, you still come down to the MR test. The MR test, this bone is saying that somebody just said that Nigerians always find
a way to circumvent the system.
Beating whatever system they put on. So, well, the minister also he went and said that you just have we need the grace of God for us to talk to our mind and say we need to do things right. But whatever measure you still want to put in place, Nigeria will still preach it. Okay, he was announced they go for scientific measure. They will be mainly going to use the national identification certificate. The national identification certificate who put it there.
Exactly.
So how many? It will actually help.
It will not help. It will not help.
If I'm going to register,
national identity card number.
if I'm going to register, it's the age I put.
It's the age you put now. Yes.
It's just like on international passport, for instance. That's why you see some footballers have different international passports. When they are going abroad, they go and they do a new one and put a new age there. So these things are very simple things to be done.
Let me just tell you one thing. This is your space now. My wife, when my daughter wanted to register for secondary school, my wife was telling that we should reduce her age. that someone who is just 11, who is just going to be 11 by December, that she should is the case that she should not affect her. It's not kind of nonsense. That is what is built on that. But before you finish assessing, and that is what to tell you that if you are pushing all those things, whatever you push, whatever those things, Nigeria will still
Exactly.
For me, I would say maybe due because in secondary schools now, in primary schools now of these days, we actually find it difficult for we to get sporting facilities.
Absolutely.
In a public school, it's just maybe just a football pitch that is there.
In some cases, there's even
schools
you see no at all.
So some schools are not as equal as leadership company.
Exactly.
So not even space for students to go to size.
So the sport culture in the primary school and in the secondary school
Completely
is not there. So how do we get to best those talent? Because the interest must start from where you're in primary school and the secondary school, and that particular age made up at the national youth games age bracket. But at this point, it's so sad that we don't really have
physical health physical health education in school curriculum is being practiced by all the schools. There's no even need for this national youth game.
Exactly.
So what would have need to do is inter-school competition. Every school competes at the state level, compete at the
those days when we were in secondary school, these things were very rampant. All secondary school games like that. And some of us who were sport, we participated in a lot of those games.
Of course.
And even some of these also Nigerian ex-international actually we were
schools.
discovered from all secondary school games.
From the school game, it's just so sad. I think that the sports ministry and the Ministry of Education must actually work together to ensure that every school in the country have a sport facilities.
Sorry for country, if I may even say, our dream in sport development, Ministry of Education should be even health responsible. Because how for crying out loud, how can you approve a certain school that cannot even have a space?
Two blocks secondary school and you have approved. Just so sad at this point in time.
Because it's nonsense for this one. Because somebody you are being sent through, you approve somebody just put a block. There's no even a space for children to move. You approve it, say it's a school.
And that's school.
Just so sad. I know in our days we had all the sporting facilities,
everything,
right there from basketball,
everything.
Handball.
In fact, I thought
it was
able to play
some of us actually not developed that
interest. Many options.
And that is why we are being local sport journalists and the rest are today. But for now, we have to go for a short break. When we come back, super good players across the Europe League scored yesterday at the likes of Balogun Seme. Scored. Taiwa Woni also was on the scoring sheet for the various club yesterday, and we are going to look into the EPL fixtures that will be happening this weekend. The biggest match will be Manchester United against Liverpool. These and many more will come after the short break. Don't worry.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158 Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Welcome from that short break. Still Sport Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. We head straight to the news, coming up from Super Eagles players around the world at this point in time, where Leon Balogun, Victor Seme, Stephen Ode actually scored goals for the various clubs in the Europa League that was actually decided yesterday, and also in the European Conference League. Leon Balogun scored his first goal for of the season for Rangers. Osema also scored in a 3-0 win. Also, Stephen Ode actually scored 2 goals in that particular one in the games actually decided yesterday. Players banging in goals week in, week out. Without being selection headache for Kenneth Rowe ahead of the Liberia and Cape Verde club.
No, clearly, I mean, and of course, as it is, I mean, for every Nigerian football fan, this should be supposed to be good news. That at least in a long while we never had this good, where we have players who, are on fire for their various teams, so to speak. And of course, when it comes to our striking positions, I mean, we are awash with all kinds of talent. Even Leon Balogun, of course, following up with his goal for the Super Eagles, also got his first goal of the season for Rangers. And of course, what more can you say about Osimhen? I mean,
banging goals.
I mean, the way it is now, anytime he plays now, if he doesn't score now, you won't be surprised that he doesn't score. So, doing very well. And for someone like Stephen Ode, who at least I knew personally back then in Lagos when he was playing for MFM, and I'm happy that he has gone on to went on to Europe and all of that, and he also was on target. Yes, he's not playing for a very big club right now, but I believe he's a stepping stone. He's still quite a young lad. It's a stepping stone for him, but good one for him. And of course, also this Union Berlin man, Taiwo, was also on target, even though they lost in that one. 3-1, lost in that one, but a good one for coming from Nigerian players. So at this point in time, this is where a good coach matters, because now you have all kinds of brilliant talents, especially in the attacking position. So when you invite these players, who do you play?
Who do you pair with?
Who do you pair with? And of course, we have many games to come. So it shouldn't be that, okay, in this match, because these players did well, we have players, and of course, a couple of friendly games, you can give an opportunity, like I say that all the time, give an opportunity to some of these players to to test them, let Nigerians even see them, and let's see what they even have to offer. But I think good one for Nigeria, and I really hope that Genadro and his technical team will find a way of integrating all of these players to one formidable unit.
Of course, Salifo, we have seen that Osimhen has been firing with all cylinders, right, left, and center for Napoli at this point in time. Should Kenneth Rowe build the Super Eagles team around Victor Osimhen at this point?
Nobody will think that he's surprised that Osimhen is calling. Osimhen is like come Syria, unless he no play. Once he play, he will score. So that is good to him and good to Nigerians. I'm also proud that yes, Nigerians is rising the bar up there. That is good. For a very long time, we don't have this right now of his caliber. A very long time. Congratulations. That is the good one for Nigeria. Good that. Talking about General building the team around him, me, I'm somebody that I'm not a coach, but I'm somebody who doesn't believe in building a team around a particular player. Because what you need is a team. That is why I say it's a team. Every all the 10 players on the pitch have something to contribute, and everybody should play its role on the pitch. The idea of saying having a focal point, and this one should be a point man, and everybody looking up first towards you. And once that person is not the team completely down. I don't believe in that. He's a good player, he's a good striker, no doubt about it. And at the same time, even the striking position, he has a lot. He's good, and even I'm sure that he's quite aware that in the striking position, it's national team. He has at least no less than 5 strikers also competing for the same position. And that is good, and that is good for the national team. But one thing that what our greatest problem now is that either if you like, let us have 20 or whatever any Nigeria is planning to. Genetro already have his mindset on a certain play on those players.
Victor Osimhen,
if you like, bring anybody, let his content go. If you like, use your foot back. If score from your back,
I scored 50 goals.
Anyway, right? If you like, let
From
another
10
Messi.
matches.
Let another Messi a match. As long as you're not on the draw list, just forget about it. But the one thing that it is good for Nigeria that we are having players over there and they are not disappointing. I'm also happy for Leon Balogun. He scored a national team. He scored for the first time in 7 years. He scored for Nigeria. And I showed that okay, that is good against just a fluke. He follow up again in sport and scored a goal. That's good. Kudos to Nigeria. Taiwan Woni at the same time, yes. Nobody's having a doubt about his ability. He has consistent in scoring goal for his club. Although when he came to the national
But they missed a glorious chance against the Central.
it happens sometimes. We shouldn't use that one to yak him off. It's happened to even the top class of this world, Ronaldo, Messi, they also sometimes miss very great chances.
Of course. No doubt about it. Still talking about Victor Osimhen at this point in time, he is saying that he wants to play for a big club in the English Premier League at this point because we know that right there in 2015, after he actually won the under 17 World Cup in Chile, he actually spoke to Arsene Wenger, who was then the manager of Arsenal, but that deal didn't actually pull through. He now actually went ahead to say that he actually had options from Barcelona, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, and the rest. But a certain Wolfsburg was the one that actually gave him that time to invest in his game and to improve physically at the time that he actually moved to Wolfsburg. If Osimhen should sign for any big club in the EPL at this point, Alpha, which club will you advise him to sign for?
Right now, off the top of my head, I think a Liverpool. I think so.
Liverpool.
I think club has a way of being able to use some certain kind of player, and I think his game will fit into somewhat in the kind of game Liverpool plays.
Why not Manchester United?
I just think Liverpool for me. I think if he's going to EPL, Liverpool will be a nice place for his development. I just really think so.
What club do you think he should sign for?
It's not about what club is looking. What club are looking for his service. So if I say okay, I want him to go and play for Arsenal, that's not what they want. That's not looking for him. So it's about who are those ones chasing him and who and he wanted to play for. But one thing that I always say that I always advise any African player if you are going to Premier League, be wary of Manchester United.
Okay.
I don't want any player because Manchester United record with African player has not been.
Of course.
So, but if you go by the record, if you're
even Liverpool.
Play for Chelsea, play for Liverpool.
Liverpool also. Liverpool have not been signing.
But Liverpool.
Sadio Mane is there.
But Liverpool have a very good record. Liverpool have a very good record about African players. First and foremost, Mohamed Sissoko of Mali play in Liverpool. He did well. I like Dior play in Liverpool. He did well. Many of them moved now. See Salah and see Man. A whole lot of African players play in Liverpool and excel. But Manchester United, I can't mention for any African player who has succeeded in playing Manchester United. But if Osimhen want to go to Premier League, if Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, I think even though
not Manchester United.
Not Manchester United.
Of course. We're talking about Manchester United, and this weekend it is going to be fireworks in that no particular match against Liverpool, former champions of the English Premiership, and it's going to be a cracker. It will actually take place right there at the Old Trafford, and Ronaldo also is expected, to actually rescue the Red Devils at this point in time because one man's job is on the line. Talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Bill, Cristiano Ronaldo rescued Manchester United against the highly attacking Liverpool team with the likes of Mohamed Salah, Firmino, and also not forgetting the reigning African footballer of the year. Talking about Sergio Mane.
Well, I mean, it's a tough one to call. One thing about this kind of games is sometimes, no matter how poorly one of the teams is doing, it's a derby. I mean, it's a team among. It's the greatest rivalry in English football. So this kind of games on the day of the match, you see players tend to turn off on both sides of the team. And credit be given, in the past 2 seasons, in both their home and away fixtures, they've last season, home and away, it was a draw. 2 seasons ago, same
Same
thing.
thing.
So even this match too, my mind is telling me more like
But-
it might be a stalemate.
But with the current form of Manchester United,
No, that's why I
Liverpool
said,
has is
the
a
truth
club
is-
like on fire. at this
That's why I
point.
said when it comes to this kind of games, form doesn't really matter at all. It's just like a derby. When it comes to just like sometimes you see United doing poorly, but once they play, Man City will be winning all games. But once they meet City, it's a different ball game. So these kind of games, even players, these are the kind of games as a footballer you even look up to playing. So on this kind of game, sometimes the coach doesn't really matter. Sometimes players just want to, as a matter of pride, just step up and see that yes, for bragging rights.
There's
Because-
always
for
egos.
Exactly, ego at
For
play there. So
bragging
this kind of
rights,
games are always a tough one to call.
My producer kindly put up the fixtures that we have for this week. But Salif, quickly, let's get a reaction between the game that will actually go down, Manchester United against Liverpool.
Just like I say, it is a game that everybody's looking up to. Both the two players, either they are down or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good any whatever weather. When everybody wants to wake up for that match.
Exactly.
But one thing I'm a little bit scared for Manchester United is that it's like Manchester United at the moment things are not going well for them. And I also see that it's like the players are like the players are gagging up against the coach because I don't know what is happening. I even read on one side that even Ronaldo has to wake up to the club manager asking them to replace the associates with the how can the players do it? It's like most of the players have made up their mind. They wanted the young man out.
Of course, crisis for Ligon Social right there in the theater of Twins. But actions we actually resume this week. Mouth-watering action between Arsenal versus Aston Villa right there tonight at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal should actually watch out for Aston Villa because at this point in time they are very deadly. Of course, they defeated Arsenal home and away last season, so Arsenal should actually get to redeem themselves this season. It's going to be Chelsea versus Norwich, Crystal Palace versus Newcastle, Everton versus Watford, Leeds against Wolverhampton Wanderers, Southampton against Burnley, Brighton versus Manchester City. That actually will make up the last one. Okay, looking at the Sunday's fixture, West Ham against Tottenham. This is another North London derby. The Hammers against the Spurs. Also, Brentford against Leicester City. While the big match that we have actually previewed some minutes ago, it will go between Manchester United versus Liverpool. What will be your money at? Put your money where your mouth is at this point in time. Head straight to our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Send in your comment. Maybe subsequently we get to pick lucky winners and maybe we get to reward them with airtime thereabout. But maybe that will come in the subsequent week. But for now, I want to thank Sadiq Usman for coming on the show today. Of course, our viewers, this is the package for this week. We make a return next week, Monday, for yet another fresh edition of Sports Orbit with all the in-depth analysis of what actually went down during the weekends in the world of sport. But for now, I'm saying I do have a lovely, weekend. My name is Wali and I'm saying bye-bye for now, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.